Ask anyone who they think Disney Channel's biggest success story is, and you'll probably get the same few answers. Miley, Selena, Zendaya, people who went on to have large success after Disney, but I want to discuss someone who, without a shadow of a doubt, is Disney's biggest success and honestly, their cash cow. And that so obviously is Raven, no pun intended. And when you really start to look back and break down her Disney career, things start to make even more sense because Raven-Symoné show was the first Disney Channel show in history to hit 100 episodes. Most shows ended after 2 or 3 seasons and had about 60 episodes. This was a record so big that Disney had to rewrite its own rules just to allow her to keep filming. And then she broke her own record again many years later with Raven's Home. I just want to emphasize that she's not just a Disney success story because she had the fame before Disney and before that So Raven, but everything she touched on that channel turned into gold. So let's break it down. Now here's the thing that makes Raven different from basically every other Disney kid on this list. Miley, Selena, Zendaya, Ross Lynch, Bella Thorne, Disney built them. Found a kid with some talent and some charisma. Maybe they had a small acting gig when they were young, but they manufactured these stars in real time. Disney was the factory, and that's kind of how it's always worked. But Raven, she didn't need the factory. She was already famous. Before Disney Channel ever knew her, she was Olivia, Bill Cosby's step-granddaughter on The Cosby Show. She was just 3 years old when she got that role. She was a season regular with her face and name on the show's opening titles with every other character. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Tempest Bledsoe, Keisha Knight Pulliam, and Raven-Symoné. Then she was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper for 4 seasons. Then she's Eddie Murphy's daughter in Dr. Dolittle, which is a huge movie, and she was in the sequel. Back in 1999, she's in Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, right there on the cover next to the main lead. Comes back for the sequel, Xenon Z3 in 2004. So by the time Disney decides to sit down and finally build a show around her, they're not betting on an unknown. They already know what she can bring. And when That's So Raven premiered in 2003, this wasn't Disney discovering and making someone a star. This was Disney hiring one, bringing in someone to elevate Disney, not the other way around. And that's what changes the whole story, right? Because every other Disney success gets talked about like a launching pad. This show is where this person became famous, but Raven's story runs backwards. Disney wasn't her big break, but it didn't become the biggest stage and opportunity she had been given. Here's another point that I really don't want to just gloss over because it is kind of a bigger deal than the show ever treated, especially for me. That's So Raven was the first Disney Channel show ever to have a black girl as the lead. Not the sidekick, not the best friend, not the sassy neighbor, the lead with her actual name in the title of the show. You don't understand like how huge that is. We're talking about people like Martin, where the show's named Martin, or The Cosby Show, where even though his name was Heathcliff Huxtable. Anyway, different video. I just had to mention that because at the time it was huge. I also feel like the 90s, early 2000s was a great era for black television. Fresh Prince, Sister Sister, Martin, Wayans Bros, Moesha, Family Matters, Cosby Show. Like Disney for sure was trying to ride that wave with Raven. Primetime shows though are one thing. Adults watching Martin or Fresh Prince already have a sense of who they are, but kids TV is a little different. Kids TV is where a 6, 7, 8-year-old is figuring out who gets to be the main character, who gets the title of the show, who's allowed to be the one everyone else revolves around instead of the friend that they're sitting next to. To be clear, I don't think Disney actually sat down and said, hey, let's make history. I think they just found a genuinely funny, talented kid, and she happened to be the first. Whether it was intentional or not, it mattered because you can draw a direct line from That's So Raven to shows like Casey Undercover. Zendaya specifically talked openly about looking up to Raven and learning from her on set. Raven didn't just lead a show. She made what it means to be the lead look normal for whoever came next on both sides of the camera. Not only was she the lead actor, but in the 4th season of the show, she was a producer. People referred to her as the boss. Let's get back to that number I mentioned at the top. 100 episodes. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a big deal. Now, shows sometimes run for hundreds of episodes, but On Disney Channel in the early 2000s, there was an actual like real ceiling that shows didn't run past 65 episodes. And it's not some arbitrary creative decision, it's contracts. Actor deals are usually structured so that after about 3 seasons, the network has to start paying everybody a lot more. So a lot of Disney shows either end right around there or quietly reinvent the show's premise a bit so that it's technically something new. Sweet Life on Deck, Hannah Montana Forever, Jessie turned into Bunk, even Raven's Home years later did the same thing when she moved back with her father. That's So Raven blew past all of that. Disney extended her contract from 65 all the way to 100, over 3 million viewers, the first Disney Channel show to hit that number. This is a network looking at the exact moment where the smart business move is usually to cut and rebrand, but instead of doing that, they chose to keep things going as is. Honestly, the only reason the show probably ended after 4 seasons was aging. They're kind of the older-ish looking cast on most modern shows, and they can't make these kids go to college on a Disney show. But before we even get to Raven's Home, I want to back up, because while That's So Raven was still airing, she was double dipping in what will become a very iconic Disney Channel original movie that just so happens to be also getting a reboot/sequel very soon.
Tomorrow,
friends help friends make their dream come true.
4 friends
Cheetah!
will get one shot
We could be grabbing Grammys.
to show their spots.
Welcome to the world of a true artist.
A Disney Channel original movie starring Raven-Symoné, Sabrina Bryan, Keely Williams, and Adrienne Bailon. The Cheetah Girls, tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
It's Cheetah-licious.
In 2003, the same year That's So Raven premiered, Raven also starred in The Cheetah Girls as Galleria, their lead singer of the group. This movie premiered to 6.5 million viewers, a Disney Channel record at the time. Get used to hearing that. And in Disney fashion, the soundtrack went double platinum. Then 3 years later, Cheetah Girls 2 comes out and beats it again with 8.1 million viewers. Again, the highest rated Disney Channel movie premiere at that point. While she's carrying a weekly sitcom, she's also fronting a girls group, a soundtrack, 2 movies, and an entire merchandising machine, dolls, clothes, video games, concert tours. This isn't a kid with one lucky show. This is someone Disney picked to headline multiple franchises at the same time, and she delivered on all of them. This was Disney Channel's Iron Man, if that makes sense. Then 10 years later, after That's So Raven ended in 2011, she comes back, Raven's Home. Same character, Raven Baxter, grown up, now a mom. Her son ends up having visions. She's still friends with Chelsea and they're roommates for a couple seasons, and I don't think anyone expected this to be more than a nostalgia play. A season, maybe 2, get some ratings off the name recognition, move on, you know, like Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. But it ran for 6 great seasons and 122 episodes. Let that sit for a second. She didn't just have one hit show to break a record, she had 2, like 14 years apart from each other. And the only thing in Disney Channel history that outproduced That's So Raven was a That's So Raven sequel. And like low-key, that's kind of the way things should be, right? You learn and make things better over time. But I think Raven's Home benefited from having a dual audience. The first one being the kids watching the new show on Disney Channel, and the second being the adults who loved Raven and watched That's So Raven when they were younger. Like, how many kids' TV shows are named after the adult? It wasn't Booker, her son's TV show. It was Raven's Home, her home. This is a hole-in-one twice on 2 different courses. So what actually makes someone Disney's biggest success? Is it the artist who sold the most records? Because by that math, you're picking Miley or Selena. Is it who became the biggest movie star after Disney? That's probably Zendaya. She had like 4 huge movies just this year. And Disney Channel has produced a lot of huge names, and most of their stories follow the same shape. Kids gets discovered by Disney, turns them into a star, and eventually they have to shed the whole Disney kid image to become something bigger and on their own. They're an adult now. Raven's story doesn't really follow that at all. She didn't need Disney to make her famous. She already was at 3 years old before Disney Channel really was even a thing. She was popping up on the cover of Disney movies as a supporting player years before she led anything. So she didn't have to hide who she was to be marketable. She was just the first Black girl to lead a Disney Channel show, the titular character, and by season 4, she was the boss. She was running a sitcom, a girls group, and a movie franchise all at the same time. And all of it worked. Hell, it's still working. And when the show that made her famous finally ended, Disney brought her back as herself and broke her own record. An actor on the show, a director on the show, and an executive producer. Like every other Disney success story is about someone becoming something. Raven's story is about someone who was already whole, walking into a building and just turning everything she touched into gold. Twice, honestly, maybe more times if you consider those Xenon movies and other small projects. But yeah, she is and always has been Disney's biggest success story, undeniably.